Thank you. Okay, so that one, the first one, this is that page, you have to put it in on the page. Okay, so for the first one, I'm hoping that you guys can see the Z shape there, right? Rather do it in the second one. You have the Z shape there. All the lines forming the Z parallel. Yes. Okay. AB is parallel to CD. So we can say, you can come in, so we can say that angle A is going to be equal to 73 degrees. Okay, those two angles will be equal. So guys, let's do a mark allocation thing here, similar to your past test. One mark if you wrote that A is 73 degrees. Then we know that the Z shape is called alternate angles. So you have to say alt angles, and then you have to state which lines are parallel. Okay, so you have to write AB parallel to CD. If you wanted to, you could have written FB or AF, right? And instead of writing CD, you could have written CG or GB. It's all the same lines. Okay, so that's fine. Now, guys, you can't give yourself the mark if you just wrote alt angles. Okay, you have to write alt angles and AB parallel to CD or whatever name you chose. Okay, so if you just wrote alt angles, you can't get that second mark. Okay. Let's look at number 2. So for number 2, there was an F shape, right? And the lines forming the F are parallel. So we can say that these two angles are going to be equal to each other. Okay, so again, one mark if you say B is equal to 100 degrees. And then F shape is corresponding angles. Guys, please, you can't write car, C-O-R-R. Okay, you have to write it out like this. This is how it's written in the CAP document from the department. So unfortunately, yeah.
Corresponding out for angles how is for angles is off.
Okay. Well, what do you mean, like an owl?
No, out is like that, and
That's fine. It's not supposed to be an owl though, right? Like, sorry, does mine look like an owl when you fix it? It's actually angled. Yeah. Just try and get it like speed. So guys, the rule is kind of, it's fine if you write more, but it's not fine if you write less. That makes sense. So if you want to write out the word corresponding, that's fine. But if you just write like a C, then that's not it. Right. Okay, corresponding angles, and now guys, you need to give the names of the lines forming the F. So I wrote JK, but you also could have written JP, that's fine. And then LM, you also could have written LQ. That's okay. Second mark for that. Okay, next one, number 3. We have a C shape there. Alright. So that is, or those two angles are corresponding angles, and we know the corresponding angles are not equal. They add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so guys, you can't say that C is 28 degrees. That's not right. C is 180 minus 28. Right, so if you added that as like a working step, that's fine. So I'll just write that there. There just wasn't a lot of space on these pages. Sorry about that. Sorry. Yeah, but sometimes it's difficult to fit everything in. But you can also just do that calculation on the calculator or in your head. You don't have to write it down. But that's how you got the value of C. Okay, then you have to say co-interior angle, that's the C shape. And then you need to write that ST or SX, is defined, is parallel to UV or UY. Again, 2 marks. 1, 2. Yeah. Have to write the answer. So you don't have to show the working, but the answer you have. Okay, guys, number 4 was the first question where you actually had to do 2 steps. So you guys notice that if we're just looking at the 56 that they gave us and D here, you can't go straight to the value of D. Right, there isn't actually an F shape there. or a C shape, or a Z shape that gives you the value straight away. Now guys, there were actually a whole bunch of ways in which you could have done number 4. So I'm just going to go through my method quickly, and if you did it in a different way, you can just ask me. Basically, D was 124. Okay, doesn't matter how you got there. What you do have to show, and I didn't mention this in class, but I don't know if everyone heard me, because some people were listening. If you have to do an in-between step, you have to write it down. Okay, you can't like do that in your head or just kind of fill it in on a picture. You will get marks for this. So if this line is not there, you're going to lose marks. Okay. Okay. Okay, so like what I did was I noticed that there is a Z shape there, right? Do you agree with that? So that angle is 56, that angle is also going to be 56 because these lines are parallel. Okay, so those angles are equal. Ooh, sorry. So then from there, I say that if this angle is 56, I can use angles on a straight line over here. Right, you guys agree? These two angles, let's use a different color. The 56-degree angle and angle G, those two angles lie on a straight line. So if I have that, this one is 56. This one is going to be 180 minus 56. Okay. Just quickly, how to write this out. Guys, they didn't give this angle a name. Do you agree? There's no letter written in that angle. There's no little one. Sometimes they call it like a G1 or G2. Okay. There's nothing written there. So guys, you have to name this angle correctly. You can't just say angle G. Okay, because how many angles do I actually have at point G? That's point G. Hey, I actually have 4 angles. So that is point G. So all around point G, I actually have 4 angles. So guys, you have to be specific. You have to tell on the marker which angle you're talking about. Okay. So I called mine CG. CG. Oh dear, and I even made a mistake there. Oopsie. Is that what you're going to say, correct? Yeah. Yeah. So this is actually not CGD. What is it? CGE or CGA. Okay, do you guys see that? So CGE is actually that line. Oops, that's not correct. CGE or CGA. Okay, let me just fix that. So that must actually be an F over here. Or an E. Right. CGE, CGA, the same thing. Okay, that's very important, guys. 56 degrees. Since I was using the Z shape, that's alt angles. And then you need to write the names of the lines forming the Z. So A, B, and C. Or AF, or F, even. Or CD, also going to written CD or GD. Okay, now guys, for that line, you would get 2 marks. 1, 2. A question like this will count more because it's more complicated. Okay, does that make sense? So 2 marks for getting CGD. Then after that, you now need to say, because I've used angle on a straight line, again, you don't have to write your calculation. You can if you want to. I'll just add it in here. This was 180 minus 56. Okay, angle on a straight line, add up to 180 degrees. So 180 minus 56 is going to give you angle D. Reason, angles on a straight line. 2 marks again. Okay, so a question like this would count 4 marks. So guys, in a test out of 50, which all your math tests are, that's 8%. Right, for this question. Okay, so very important. If you have in between steps, you have to write your steps down. Now, what you also could have done is you maybe would have wanted to work with this F shape here. Right, you could have said that this angle is 56. So the corresponding angle. Now, what's the name of this angle? Let's just quickly go over that. HGB, yes, or DGH. Right, you can put them in either order. Okay, so you could have written that, and then D also would have been 124 because of angles on straight line. Or you could have worked with this. Sorry, the thing was frozen. You could have worked with this C shape here. Right? You could have said that this angle is 124 because of co-interior angles, right? This C shape. Now guys, The fact that this G is written here, that's not saying that this is angle G. They just labeled the point by writing it. Okay, but this angle is actually, what would the name of this angle be? This one over here. EGD. Okay, or FGD, or BGE or DG. Okay, so that angle will be 124 because of current area angle. And what would you then say? What would your reason then be for B? Vertically opposite angles. Okay. There were multiple ways of doing that question, guys, but basically you have to have 2 steps. And you would get 1 mark for each. Alright, if you're not sure if yours is okay, you can come asking afterwards. You can come show me your work and I'll come. Something is missing or yeah. Next one. Number 5. Sorry, this you actually can't make out. So let me just go over this in black quickly. I hope that will help. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And this one. Okay, so guys, I did corresponding angles here. I saw that H shape. Right, so that 142, so I say that is also 142 because of corresponding angles. Okay, 2 marks. I'll talk about the angle name just now because that's important. So I got that angle is 142, and then I use the angles on a straight line. Okay. So again, 2 marks. This angle here, are we okay with that angle being LQN? What else could I have called this? If I didn't call it L2N, I could have called it LQP. Yes, LQP also would have been fine. What else? I already said that one. Oh, yes. NQL. You can go from the top down, right? NQL. What else? There's one more. PQL as well. Okay. Now, what you also could have done was you could have said that this angle is 142 because of vertically opposite angles. I'll get to that now. So you could have used vertically opposite angle here, and this angle is QPK. Right, so if you say QPK or RPK is 142, vertically opposite angle, that's fine. And then to get E, you would have had to do current area. Right, so then you would have said E is 180 minus 142, current area angles JK parallel to LA. You also could have done maybe angles on a straight line here. Right, you could have said that this angle is 38 because of angles on a straight line. Right? And then what shape do we have there? An N. Okay. So you could have taken NPK, NPK or KEN is 38 degrees, angle on a straight line. And then E is also 38 degrees because of corresponding. Okay, again, if you got lost now while I was speaking, just ask me afterwards and I'll tell you if you want. All right, number 6. Can you guys read that blue thing? If I change that? Can read it. Okay, so what I did here was we need to find F, right? So I did current area angles here. I did 180 minus 107. I got that angle is 73. So what's the name of this angle? UYW or UYX. Okay? Or WYU or XYU. So that was 73 degrees because of current area angles. And then I did vertically opposite angles. Okay. So 2 marks for that. Or you could have said that this angle over here is 107. Because of corresponding, right? We have an X shape there. And then you could have done angles on a straight line. Or you could have done this angle is 107 using this Z shape, right? I don't know if anyone saw that Z shape. Okay, good. So you could have said that that angle is 107, that angle is WYV or XYV or VYX, VYW, all right? All angles for that one, and then you could have done angles on a straight line thing. Okay, so lots of different ways of get to the answers here, guys. The important thing is for every statement, you need to have a reason. Okay, so I really want you guys to focus on that. All right, number 7. You can see I'm going to do 9 and 10 with you guys because there are lots of steps there. But 7 wasn't too bad. Did you guys all use criteria angle for 7, right? To get 3. Okay, good. You have your C shape. It's like a backwards C in this case. So those two angles just add up to 180. So that one is 60. This one is going to be 180 minus 60, 120 degrees. Again, 1 mark for the answer, and then 1 mark for the reason. Guys, instead of writing AS, you could have said AX or FX, also would have been fine. And instead of writing TQ, you could have said TX or XQ, that would be fine. Okay, any questions on number 7? Right, number 8 was quite hectic. I did 3 sets. Was anyone able to do number 8 in 2 sets only? No one. Okay. So again, guys, there were lots of different ways, and now because there's 3 sets, there were even more options that you could have done. Okay, so I'm just going to go through my section. If we're looking at the picture, there's a lot going on. All right, so it really does help, especially because this was a printed worksheet, to actually draw in, even if you do it in pencil and then you erase it afterwards, to draw in your shapes. Okay, so we're needing to find angle H, which is over here. So what I did was, they obviously gave us this 150-degree angle. Okay, so I said, let's look at that. We have an F shape over there. Yeah.
The angle with the one, and you read all these angles and the angle one side or
They are key for this one here. That wouldn't have been alternate angles. So we can look at some other options now. There were other ways. Okay, are we all seeing this H shape here that I used? Right? So I say that this angle is 130 degrees. And guys, it also helps if you just fill in the values, even if you're not writing stuff down, right? If you still need to kind of figure out how to get to the value of H, it's quite useful if you're filling in your F and then you're putting that 130-degree angle there. Then you think, okay, what can I now find? Oh, that's also 130, and then I can get H. Right, and then you can write everything down. Maybe that will be the easier. So I got that this angle is 150 degrees. The name of this angle, there were again a few options. So I wrote FPM. You also could have written OPM. Or you could have gone the other way around. You could have said MPF or MPO. Right. Equal to 150 degrees, corresponding angles. These two lines we're now looking at, right? The two lines that are forming the lines of the F. So LK and MM. Or you could have done the shorter ones. You could have said RK or even OK. For this one, you could have said NM or QM or PM. Okay, so even just this one, this line, there were lots of different ways in which you could have written. Okay, 1 mark, second mark. Then I said, how nice. Vertically opposite angles, right? So that one is 130, this one is also 150. Now the name of this angle, again, there were lots of options. I wrote NPQ. No, NPG. NPG. Okay, you could have written GPM, you could have said QPG or GPQ. 1 mark for 130, 1 mark for the reason. Guys, I'm hoping that you're putting your equals in that reason, right? You can't say birth of angles, you have to say birth of angles equal. And then I said, okay, now I have a C shape. So that is 130, that one has to be 4. Alright, remember the angle of a C shape, let's add it to 180. So H is 50 degrees, and the reason is co-interior angles, these two lines. I wrote PG and QJ, you could have written FG and HJ, or OG and RJ. Again, just come ask me afterwards if you're not sure what your answer. Okay. 6 marks for that one. 12% of the page. Any questions on this one? No. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do 9 and 10 with you guys now because 9 and 10 were different. They were lots of different values that you had to find, and you had to do them in a specific order. Okay, alphabetical order. So guys, the first one that we have to find here is A. You have to kind of, you have to go step by step. And guys, the important thing is you need to fill in whatever you are calculating as soon as you've calculated it. Because often you need to use like the value of A to maybe get the value of B. Okay, they often follow on like that. So A is the first one I need to find. Can anyone see something that I can do to find A? So what? Yes, good. 130 and A, they have to add up to 180. All right. So A is going to be what? What is the value of A? 50 degrees. So interior angles. And now we have to say AB parallel to C. Okay, when you've calculated it, guys, fill it in on your picture. You can now use that value to do the rest. Okay, where is B? B is over here. What's B going to be equal to? 7? 50. Look again.
Oh, good.
B, this one, yes. 150, hey, vertical opposite angle. I think you were looking at B. Alright, B is vertically opposite 130 degrees. Okay, so B is going to be equal to 150. Yes. Vert of angles equal. So let's fill that in. Now guys, as we have more values, we're going to have more ways of finding the next values. Okay, so I'm not going to write down all the reasons every time. Today we'll be sitting here for the whole hour just doing this one question. But for C, I'm going to talk through the various options, but can someone just give me an idea? How can I find C? Yes.
Angle on a straight line.
Angle on a straight line, correct? Right, with the 150, and even with that 150. Right, there were actually 2 straight lines that I could use here. So C is going to 50 degrees and is on a straight line. Any other options? Yeah. Corresponding angles, you guys see that? X check over there with A. Alright, so we're going to go to corresponding as well. Okay, C is equal to 50 degrees. Angles on a straight line, or you can write corresponding angles, and then you're going to have to say AB parallel CD. Okay, I don't have space to write down all the reasons. So C is also 50. Okay, next up in the alphabet, D. What's D equal to? Yeah, 50 degrees as well, hey? Again, there were multiple ways or multiple reasons that you could write down. I think the easiest one to see is probably vertically opposite angles, right? But what about angles on a straight line? And even that straight line. And look at this Z shape also, guys. You could have written alt angles as well. Okay, so there were a whole bunch of ways in which you could find D. Let's write, I think, the most obvious one, which is vert of angles. But guys, if you write any of those reasons, it would be fine. Okay, where is E? E is over here. It's now completely on the other side of the whole diagram. How can I find E? Corresponding angles, hey, with that 71. Do you guys see that X shape? Okay, so E is 71 degrees. Sorry, I'm going to the screen here. Oh dear, my apologies. Yeah, but we haven't done quads yet, so you won't get questions that rely on that. Okay, again, A, B, and C, D. Okay, and then you fill it in on your picture as well, right? 71 degrees. Next one, we need to find if angles on a straight line, yes, or for interior angles, okay. Both reasons would use the same working, 180 minus 71, which is what? 109. So if is 109 degrees, which right angles on a straight line, or co-interior angles AD parallel to CD. That is perfect. Okay, I'm going to fill that in. F is 109. I think, oh, that's it. Okay, there's no G. What if they ask us to find this angle up here? Well, you could do angle time and triangle. Okay, so you could say in the small triangle or even in the big triangle, you guys see that? We have the same angles in both of them. So you could say that angle E, and now you can call it angle E because there's just one angle there, alright? Angle E will be 180 minus 71 minus angle time and triangle. Okay, but that wasn't a question. I just wanted to remind you. So guys, how many marks for this question? A whole bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 24% of the test. Probably not with 6 angles. Maybe with like 4. Okay, let's look at the next one, the last one that you have to do. Alright guys, the alphabet thing was a bit all over the place here. So what is the first letter? Is it H? Yeah, H is the first one. Okay, so if we need to find H, what can I use? Yeah. Alternate angles, hey? Do we see that Z shape? Guys, are these two lines parallel? Yeah, it's indicated over there. Okay. So H is 50 degrees. Alt angles ST parallel to UV. And then we can fill it in. What's next? K. Yeah. K is next. Alright, K is just next to this 50-degree angle. So K is going to be 150, hey? Angle on a straight line or for interior angle. Okay. So K is going to be 130 degrees. Let's stop with angles on a straight line. Okay, next, if we're going in alphabetical order is M, which is there. And we find with vertically opposite angles, or angles on a straight line, or even guys corresponding angles. See that F there. Alright, so there were 3 reasons that we could use for M. So M is equal to 50 degrees. But of angles equal. Yes. Yes. Yeah, some of them are missing, yeah. So they're just H and then next alphabetically would be K. Yeah, I don't know why that isn't actually. Okay, after m is n, right? So that would be the next one. So what can I do to solve for n then? What can I do with n? Angle sum and triangle, right? I think that's probably the most obvious one. So to get n, we're going to say 180 minus 60, which is what? 120, and then minus 50. So what does that leave me with? 70. Okay. So n is 70 degrees, angle sum in triangle. You also could have used, I don't think any of you would have done this, but we actually do have a C shape over here. Right, so you could say that this whole angle, which is what? What's that big angle there? 60 plus 50 is 110. And n would add up to 180. Okay, so you could have done it like that. 180 minus 110 will also give you 70. So you could have used current period angle there. It's fine if you didn't. Right, angle sum and triangle is just as good. All right, so n is 70 degrees. Next, if we're going according to the alphabet, there is no O, so next up would be P. What can I do to get P? Yeah, alternate angles, right? Or angles on a straight line. Okay, you could do 180 minus 50 minus 60 minus 50 there. Okay, you would get the same answer. So P is going to be 70 degrees. Right, we can say alt angles. ST parallel to UV. Okay, last one. I'm almost there, guys. Q, this one over here. What's the 70 there? Bird off angles or corresponding angles. Yeah, there's an F shape there as well. Bird off angles is the one that I'm going to write down. So Q is 70 degrees. Okay, that one would also be out of 12 marks, guys. So you can actually give yourself a total mark here out of, let's see, what did we have? This one is 12. That one is also 12, so that's 24. The previous one was 6, so that's 30. 32. This one was 4, so that's 36. This one is also 4, so that's 41. Also 4, so 45. 47. And let's count. Good. 49, 51. Did I miss count? Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 10, 14, 18, 20, 26, plus 24. So that's 60, isn't it? 50, I'm sorry, 50. Okay, so guys, you can give yourself a total mark out of 50. Okay, we are starting something new. So if you're done adding up, you can go to a new page.